que sea un poquito la...
This is Garage LA, Garage Latino. We don't talk about football here.
We don't talk about golf, no.
We are two Latino gearheads,
David
y Ricardo, that are lucky to test the latest cars for you.
So you can make a better decision when you are ready to buy, but there is more.
Since we are Latinos and we have more than 50 years doing this, we have our own opinions and don't have pelos en la lengua to be nice for the sake of it.
News, opinions, and our verdict, Latino styles on things on wheels, y al que no le guste, que se chingue.
Garage Latino on Believe Network starts now. Welcome back, my friends. El Ricardo here. This is Garage LA. Remember, you can find us now at the labest.com. And of course, you can find us at the Believe Network under Garage Latino. And tell your friends you can download the podcast of Garage Latino through Spotify, Amazon Music. Again, sorry, we don't talk about football. We don't talk about baseball. Once in a while, we talk about golf. But no, we just talk about anything that is interesting in this crazy world on wheels that is definitely changing. And because it's changing today, I have to talk to this person that, David Lohi.
Hola, amigos. Saludos desde México. How are ya?
David, every week something happens, everything is changing so fast that it's hard to keep track. New cars keep coming out, but at the same time, every time a car comes out, something in another industry that could affect the auto industry is happening. Everybody's talking about electric cars, and now they're saying that we're going to run out of copper. Oh my God, so
yes,
everything
seems
interesting.
This is pretty much the butterfly effect. I mean, a little butterfly flaps its wings in South America, and then you have storms and on the other side of the world. So this is the butterfly effect, most definitely.
That's right. Now, before we go into what we wanted to talk today, I thought it was interesting that for a while in the 60s, 70s, car companies were making these. I don't know if you call it a pickup truck, but the Ranchero, El Camino. And those things are gone, but it looks like coming back.
Oh, and you're forgetting also the GMC Caballero.
Ah, that's right.
I don't know why. It's pretty funny that this trucklets, this pickups based on cars, had this. There was this fascination with Latin names because GMC had the Caballero, Chevrolet had El Camino, which had a very funny intervention in that movie, The Mexican. It was Brad Pitt's car on screen, and Ford had the Ranchero. So I don't know why they had this Latin naming system.
Maybe because it was such a thing when it came out that just in case it didn't work, we could blame it on the Mexicans.
Very possibly, yes. Yeah, that's a possibility. But turns out that Ram has been, they made the questionable decision of phasing out the Dakota. I think it was in 2011 or 12.
It's a while now.
And ever since they've been without a mid-size pickup.
Right.
And that turned out to be a regrettable decision because the market was fading back then. But turns out that the mid-size segment is making a comeback.
And I think David, I think it's making a comeback because the pickup truck, the 1500s, they have grown in size. I mean, these trucks are huge right now.
Yes, and the thing is that Ford and Ram left the segment. But on the other hand, Toyota and Nissan decided to continue offering this, and GM decided to continue to build mid-size trucks, and their decision paid off handsomely because then Ford realized that they had made a mistake in leaving that segment, so they had to get the Ranger to modify it to bring it back, and which happened in 2018. And Ford it's a global company. What's happening in America is not necessarily what's happening in the rest of the world. For example, Ford for America phased out the sedans. But if you go to other countries like or other regions like China,
Yeah,
Europe, they still have cars.
yeah,
So when they phased out the Ranger in 2012, they continued building the Ranger. As a matter of fact, they made a new generation of the Ranger, but it was sold in Australia and Latin America. But then, when they realized that they had screwed up by leaving that market, they had to modify the, uh, the new generation Ranger for Latin America and Australia to get the one that we have currently. Now, all of this has been happening while Ram doesn't have a mid-size truck.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there was this interesting contest that Ram made of making concepts or showing concepts or about a mid-sized pickup truck, and they came out with a most interesting idea. But they say that there's nothing new under the sun, and this turns out to be the case because it will be it's called the Rampage. As you may remember, the Rampage was the pickup truck version of the Dodge Omni
Right,
024, which then underpinned the Dodge Charger.
right,
So
right, right.
this is a Challenger with some modifications to give it the TRX look in the front, and the back it has a box. So this variation, yes, it does seem interesting, but on the other hand, I'm not so sure that I like it because it seems to be the answer to a question that nobody has asked.
That's right.
And quite frankly, I think that if there was a body style that was missing on the Challenger, was it convertible?
Yeah, that's right.
That's
That's
the one
right.
that they should have brought. But well, at least they're showing this Rampage, and I guess it's not even going to be a swan song for the Challenger because with the Challenger being phased out soon in about 2 model years, I think that it probably won't be worth the investment of
That's right.
tooling
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and for
And I
making
think they
this
will
pickup.
continue, perhaps, with these show pieces and these prototypes, customs. Try to maintain that conversation until
Yes, but so far
they
I
phase
think it's
out.
only a sketch.
Yep, yeah. Now, what's not a sketch, what is reality, and it's something that's really got my attention for the last couple of years, but even more now than ever, is this company that is only about 50 years old, that really started making cars in 1967 under license. They started making the Ford Cortina in South Korea. And from these beginnings and going through all hurdles of qualities and bad press, and in a short time, they have become what I think is one of the leaders in the electrification of the automobile. And I'm talking about Hyundai Motor Company, the Hyundai Motor Group,
Oh,
which
Hyundai.
or Hyundai, which encompasses the Hyundai cars, Kia, and Genesis. And I have to say, I've been very, very impressed. I mean, what they're doing, you have to give a lot of credit, especially for a young company, and a young company that it had a very rocky start with that Pony XL in the United States. You thought that they were never going to make it, but today, when you look at the JD Powers reports and so forth, it looks like the quality is on top notch, matching Toyota, and that's very commendable. And on the electrification side of it, they're committed. They're committed. I mean, their whole fleet, it's towards a cleaner environment, and you have to give a lot of credit.
Yes, and what is interesting about Hyundai is that sorry, I'm pronouncing it the way that it's being marketed in the U.S. They decided that they would say that it's Hyundai in order to facilitate pronunciation. Hyundai as in rhyming with Sunday. Okay, but this company is very interesting because yes, it's a powerhouse in the automotive industry, and it improved very quickly. But this brand is not only betting on hybrids
Yep.
and battery electric vehicles, but they are one of the few companies that still are investing heavily on the fuel cell type of vehicles, along with Honda and Toyota. Hyundai has been investing on the fuel cell, and that's an interesting choice, because if the fuel cell is determined later on to be the solution to transportation problems, they would be in a privileged position
Yeah,
to
and,
take
and I and
advantage
I
of
think,
that.
David, I think we don't really have an answer to what is going to be the best, technology to power an automobile 25 years from now, 30 years from now. But what we know is that there are certain niches. I mean, the electric car works great in heavy congested areas, and if you have access to fast chargers and so forth. If you need to commute, longer routes, the hybrids, the plug-ins, I think they work great. And if you have to move heavy things, where a commercial trucks, then the hydrogen cells really work very well, and they've been testing these. And even now, Hyundai, which has a, what do they call it? I don't want to call it an airplane, but they're already in negotiations with Rolls Royce and other companies to bring this clean technology up into the air.
Yes, I think it may be Virgin and Rolls Royce, which are going to
Yep.
make a collaboration on hydrogen, powered jet engines. So Hyundai, it's turning out to be. I think that they're covering all the bases,
Yep.
but it's very interesting that in the short time since they started selling EVs in the U.S., it has become the number two
Yeah.
in electric vehicle sales in the U.S. Just behind Tesla.
Yeah, and we know that with a lot better quality, a lot better quality. So it's only a matter of time. Now, within this electrification program, what I like is that in 2016 they sort of started this IONIQ brand, similar to Prius, right, with Toyota, and they offered three models at the time. It was a high fuel efficient combustion engine. You have the hybrid, and then you have the EV. But today, they are using these electric global, what is it, the EGMP,
The
the
platform.
electric global modular platform, which debuted that with Ionic 5. I had a chance to drive the car, and I was very, very impressed. That platform is also slightly modified. It's using the Kia EV6, which is beautiful design. If you ask me about electric cars, I think it's one of the nicest looking cars. And now, drum roll, now we have this new Ioniq 6, which took me totally by surprise, because it's, in terms of styling, is such a different approach to the Ioniq 5
It's a
that,
knockout, really.
yeah. And some people said, hey, it has the style inclusive of Sav 92 from this 5060s. Like I'm not sure. I think it's a four-door coupe type, but it's very, very interesting. But what really gets my attention is, like, wow, these two products, the Ioniq 5 and the Ioniq 6, they talk to a completely different consumer. And I think that's very important, that you're not a brand that you're only talking to one person. They're broadening the appeal.
Yes, differentiation, it's important, and this brand also has the Kona, which
I like the Kona.
the Kona EV. It's a very, very
Yeah,
interesting proposition, because
yeah,
some manufacturers are really focused on cars, and turns out that crossovers and SUVs are what the people really want. So the Kona, I think, that has the form factor that people are demanding, and the pricing is very attractive, really.
no, I mean, the Kona is around $34,000, which in California, if you qualify for some of these, special incentives from state and federal government, which they sum up to $9,500, then you end up with mid 20s for a car that is very capable. It has 250 miles range, uh, plenty of power. When I drove it, I really, really enjoy it. And if you have access to a charger at home, then it pretty much can serve as your car for every day. And I like that it's a crossover type, so it's very comfortable. You can still carry four people, you got room, but it's compact enough to be able to be agile in the streets, in the city, and easy to find parking and so forth, where the other cars are bigger. And I think that that's was, to me at least, was the original mission of this electric car. Let's have a compact car that can do all these that we need during the week for our everyday commute.
And the plans that Hyundai has are very ambitious because the Ionic 6 that you like so much, and it's really quite stunning when it comes to design, is going to be on sale this year. And they're expecting the Ionic 7, which is an SUV, to be on sale by 24. And they're also bringing EVs to the Genesis
Yeah.
brand. And it's very interesting that they're going to be building an electric vehicle and battery plant on Georgia, and production is slated to start by 2025, making 300,000 units per year. And they invested quite a bit, $5.5 billion. So
Right.
they are, they're walking the walk and they're talking the talk.
Yes, and that's what I like, because we are used to, in the automotive industry, we're used to this type of long-term programs from a Ford, from a Chevrolet, and so forth. But when you see a new company that has moved forward so much, and with a high quality product, you know, they have worked very hard to improve the quality, to improve the reliability of the product. I think it's very commendable. Now, I also want to mention that for a lot of people, the electric is not the solution. It's because it depends where you live, how you use the car. But Hyundai, through the lineup, you pretty much have the option to a hybrid from the Elantra, the Sonata, the Tucson, the Santa Fe. And I think that's very important, because as we move forward, people getting into these cars, they're going to realize, hey, when I get in 40 miles per gallon, I get 45 miles per gallon out of my car. That's a big difference to the big sellers today, which, when we talk about this last week, the top three cars in the United States, the top sales are pickup trucks that give you 14 miles per gallon. I mean, if you jump from 14 miles per gallon to 40 miles per gallon, that's a huge savings, not even mentioning all the good that you're doing to the planet, by cleaning the air.
Yes, and they're definitely committed to electricity because like you said, they said the hybrids, plug-in hybrids, electrics, and also, like I said, fuel cells.
In terms of technology, the IONIQ 5, which I had the opportunity to drive the vehicle, and I was very impressed because it felt very agile. But I think, with two electric motors, plenty of torque. I think the car never I mean, I never knew. I mean, if you'd have told me this is an electric car, it was just really, because usually the electric cars up to this point, they've been sort of heavier. You could feel that there was a difference. But the IONIQ 5, it's you were in control. It's a heavy car, but you never felt there was a heavy car. It was very agile, plenty of power. And so I imagine that with the same platform on the IONIQ 6 also is going to provide you with a very, very nice ride. The IONIQ 5 starts at $44,000, which, again, if you qualify for some of these incentives, you can take $7,000 off, plus another $2,000 here in California. So it makes it into the mid-30s, which now, it's very reasonably priced. The SEL model with the rear motor comes at $46,000, and the fully load up IONIQ 5 Limited starts at $51,000. Actually, I drove a $53,000 IONIQ, but it had a very nice white interior that it was very futuristic, and to me, sort of a 1980s style RoboCop type, But a lot of people were asking me, "What is it?" I love it. I like the look. So definitely, there is something special about that car.
Yeah, and they're being very ambitious because by 2030 they aim to have a 7% market share globally, and to sell 1.9 million EVs. So I think they're on track to achieve their goal.
I think so. I mean, they already. I mean, they're in terms of most sellable cars around the world. The Elantra, I think, is in the top three. So it's they're doing very, very good work, and it's not that we want to sell the brand, but we need to recognize that some companies are really moving forward in a way that you did not expect. This conversation could have been, with an American brand, and unfortunately, it isn't. So
Well, Ricardo, I keep hearing that the head of Stellantis keeps complaining about EVs. He just mentioned that Carlos Tavares, that the EV is killing the affordable car. So he's making all this type of excuses, and they may be valid. Okay, they may
yeah,
be valid, but Hyundai, it's rather than complain, they're working on getting as many EVs as possible, and with the highest quality possible, and great value.
yeah, and I think what's changed. I mean, everything has changed. Nothing remains the same ever. So we need to look at cars that also the way cars used to be. You could buy a car, and maybe 20 years you still will using that car one way or another. It still serve the purpose. But with all the technology integration that goes into the cars, and people getting used to have the latest, they want more connectivity, they want more memory, they want more technical stuff inside the car, then it's very hard to predict what is going to be like in 20 years from now. But if you're not ready, if you're not planting all the seeds, I can tell you that 25 years from now, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to be driving my 65 Mustang. There might not be gasoline anymore.
Right, and it's funny that you should mention a gasoline powered vehicle as an example, but also technology is moving so quickly that Nissan was the first
Yes.
to sell a mass type electric car, the Leaf. But that car now it's in its second generation. It was introduced or at 2016, I think.
Yep.
And that car now is so behind the competition that
Yes.
it's really amazing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of new exciting developments coming up. Lithium ion batteries I think are going to be slowly phased out and replaced by other formulations, because lithium ion batteries are very volatile and very
Yeah.
born to catching fire. And now, for example, I just tested a Chinese car here that by JAC Jack that no longer has lithium ion. It has lithium ferrophosphate batteries, and that type of technology. It has a lower energy density than lithium ion, but on the other hand, it's cheaper to produce, and I think that's a key point
Yeah.
when it comes to batteries, because if the batteries are cheaper to produce, the car can be sold at a lower price, and this will encourage the adoption of EVs. And these type of batteries, which by the way are being used by Tesla as well, they are not as prone to catching fire like lithium ion. So there's a lot of exciting new developments coming.
Definitely. So, David, how everyone finds you in YouTube?
Okay, type in the search bar from YouTube, Autos and Gear, no spaces, and it'll take you there.
All right.
It's a very interesting channel.
And Garage Latino is broadcasted through the Believe Network in the United States. You can go to believe.com, search for Garage Latino, and you will see all our shows. And also, you can tell your friends that you can download the Garage Latino podcast through Spotify and Amazon Music. And I keep thinking that, but we forget to mention also Garage LA, that you can find us at LA Best.
¿Qué pasó,
Don't go.
Ricardo?
It's late.
Yeah.
Too much electrification in my head.
Demasiada, yes.
Don't go. We'll be right back.
Duraloop es un tratamiento especial para que el aceite no pierda sus propiedades. Duraloop reduce la sedimentación de las partículas nocivas que dañan al motor. Duraloop disminuye la temperatura interna del motor y la fricción de los metales. Duraloop, para que el motor dure más.